Now, the one that I've also seen a few of is the whitewater one, or whatever it's called. What's that called again?
Gold Rush Whitewater.
Yeah, that one's fascinating to me, but...
Is it about the Clinton real estate deal?
No. That one's wild because, like, they're out, like, it almost looks like they're fishing these little creeks or something. I don't know.
Yeah, it's like, I don't know, the original Gold Rush was in Porcupine Creek in Alaska.
Yeah.
With Dakota Fred and his son Dustin. And they are now hunting, like, these plunge pools above Porcupine Creek. So areas where the old-timers, you know, just missed, like giant... you know, pots of gold. That's what they're looking for. And it's
but it seems like it does seem brutal because it seems like they're getting a much smaller volume, obviously, because they're doing a much smaller area, and they just get a few little cornflakes, and they're
it's much more treasure hunting than Gold Rush. It's it's a different show. It's a treasure hunt, whereas Gold Rush, they know the gold's there, and it's all about running volume, of dirt.
Right. So they have some amazing characters on the show. Like Tony Beats, he's still there, right?
Yeah, Tony's still on Gold Rush. He's not going anywhere.
Yeah, and then, of course, you've got Rick is kind of the new young gun guy who's taking over.
And these are lifers, right? When the show goes away, they're still doing it.
Yeah, I mean, that's debatable. Well, Rick, I just asked him that on the dirt. You know, if the show went away or if you had a bad season or, you know, would you keep gold mining? He's iffy, but Parker is in it for the long haul. I mean, Parker is absolutely killing it. You know, millions and millions every year now. And he sees this.
Is it ever going to be
a
point where he's just going to say, I've got enough, I don't need to do this? Like, the lifestyle kind of stinks.
It's actually, I mean, it's 6 months of brutal work, and then they're off.
6 months of chilling.
And they're
so
off.
You get used to
I mean,
that.
you know, Tony Beats goes to Mexico.
Yeah.
And
Does
travels
he go to Vegas?
Europe.
Doesn't he have a place in Vegas?
He has a place in Arizona.
Arizona.
That's
okay.
amazing, Scad.
They kill it. I mean, they're working, you know, 18 hours a day. In some really tough.
That part is not so great.
Yeah, we like the 4. Anybody got a 4-hour day gig?
That's no 4 hours up there.
I mean, can you imagine working 18 hours?
No.
I would do it never.
We're so spoiled.
Right.
So spoiled.
And you know, they have a timeline, right? Like when the winter closes in up there, they're done. As soon as the water freezes, you're frozen.
There's nothing you can do.
It's over. It's over. So you're racing the clock, right? You're trying to get as much gold out of the ground before winter closes in.
Right. And Jason, there is something, I've said it a million times. There's something primal about, I know Jason hasn't really checked it out. There's something really primal about these big, like, Tonka toys, but these are like the real things.
It's just hard for me to personally relate because I don't even own a lawnmower.
Okay,
so like these guys owning like these big giant excavators and
you
the
can't
machinery.
relate because we're softies.
Yeah.
But it's still fascinating to see other people do it. You know what I mean?
And the appeal too, Cakes, is you're big on playing Powerball.
It's
the strike.
It's the ultimate gamble.
No, you do catch gold fever. I mean, I've been up there and
have you caught it?
I've seen it in the. I didn't do it myself,
but I mean, just from envy and watching.
Oh, totally, totally. So you know, way back when in Porcupine Creek, you know, in these little kind of not very fancy sluice boxes is what they call them, where they catch the gold. You see it and you see them digging it out, and it's like, wow, this is serious. I mean, these guys are they could have, it's just, you're absolutely right. It taps into the 5-year-old boy in all of us.
There's something primal about it, about just digging for gold.
Yeah.
And you go weeks and weeks and you miss, and all of a sudden you hit a hot spot, Jason, and all of a sudden 1 week Parker will have, like I was watching maybe 1 or 2 this season, but maybe $800,000 in gold in 1 week of mining.
Like
well, I would say this. I would be more
jackpot.
interested in the show, and maybe the show features this. I don't even know. I would be more interested in the show if they showed these guys cashing in and then how they spend it. So do you ever show?
Hell no.
Yes.
They don't do it. So you don't know where they live, and I'm sure they've all bought nice
homes.
homes.
You mean where they live?
Yeah.
When the season's over.
Yes.
Yeah, well, so I can tell you a funny story. Early on in Gold Rush, these guys would show up in, their new F-150s and their new Dodge Rams.
Right.
And early on, I said, guys, lose the new trucks. Can we bring the old trucks in for the show here? I mean, showing up when they're scraping by to get there, and they're doing well, right? But you don't want to see them in their fancy new trucks and their
you want to see them in
snowmobiles.
the
I want to see them in their beachfront homes.
Yeah. I mean, look. The thing about gold mining is these guys do really well, but what they do is they put all that money right back into the next season. So they're pretty tight. Parker doesn't even have a house. Parker does not own a house.
Yeah, but he's also he's a little bit of a weirdo.
He travels. He travels.
Does he still have that girl from 2 years ago?
No, they broke up. She was an Australian woman he met when he was traveling.
I mean, she was way out of his league.
She was up on the claim.
Does he have a new one now?
I think he might.
A new silly.
He looks like a poor
he
man's
might.
Adam Driver to me.
Yeah, he
He gets that a lot.
really does.
He gets the Adam
Does
Driver
he
thing a
mow
lot.
through as ugly as he is? Like, I think Adam's fairly ugly. This dude is 10 times uglier. 10 times. I mean, he's an ugly. Parker Schnabel, I'm sorry, and I'm a fan, is Parker Schnabel. Isn't that
Not
his name?
last name.
Parker Schnabel is ugly.
I'm not going to touch that. But he's on Instagram, so I can tell you he's
So, I mean,
he's
does
active.
he
He's got a
mow
lot of
through
fans.
chicks?
I don't really know. I don't really know. He's got a second show now, too. He's got a spin-off show called Parker's Trail, where this season he's actually looking for an international spot to mine because the Yukon's getting mined out.
Really?
So he doesn't have a lot of time. I mean, he has the end of Gold Rush. He goes right into the next show. And while he's doing the next show, he's prepping for the next season.
Do all the? It seems like everybody ends up hating Parker because he pushes and pushes and
He's
pushes.
done really. He's had a. He's grown up being a mime boss. Imagine being 18.
Like, he was like 18. Yeah.
In charge of 45-year-old grizzly dudes running heavy equipment. So he definitely had a learning curve, but he's really made some headway. He was unpopular for a while as a manager, but now he's really come.
People do
into
like
his
him.
own. Yeah,
Does Rick like him?
He's got a great crew. Rick and Parker have a huge beef. Yeah.
Still do?
Rick used to work for Parker, and it didn't end well.
Ricky.
And Rick went out on his own, and there's definitely tension there for sure. And that's something we dive
So they're not
deep
buddies
into.
at all?
Not at all. That's something we dive deep into on the dirt, and man, it's uncomfortable.
So like when they're in the room together, it's uncomfortable.
I mean, they have a beer together and stuff, and I think
they do?
I think a lot of the animosity has kind of subsided over the years, but there's definitely some tension there. I mean, they used to be really, really close.
Wait, do they hate Tony?
No, Tony and Parker have
They have a weird
epic
relationship.
business battles, and
Tony's like this old man that happens to own a lot of the claims, and he'll like he'll hold them to the letter of the law of their contract.
Yeah.
Every penny. So Parker will mine, say 800,000, but if he owns 50% of it, he's got to give him 400K.
Yeah.
And Parker gets bitter and.
Yeah, he was leasing land from Tony for a long time. This is the first year where Parker has his own land, and he had to pay 20% royalties on everything. And Tony's a ball buster. He doesn't mess
Would
with
not let him
Who
slip.
lives the flashiest lifestyle off the
he
camera?
loves the
wants the
I
show,
like that.
he wants the show to turn into lifestyles or
none of them,
These
right?
guys are not flashy at all. I mean, Tony, they have a little condo in Mexico where they go to for
Right.
and, but they redid their condo. That's about as flashy as they get.
Right.
It's like
Jason
it's
wants them to be
Granite.
ballers, like off air.
Well, one
not.
show that I love, don't mean to promote another show,
you can. That's
but I watch Lottery Dream Homes.
yes.
Oh, I hate that show.
Do you
I
like that
love it.
host?
Yes, he's getting more and more tattoos.
David, I don't know what his name is.
I'm not.
He's all tatted up.
He's
I
a little
know.
over the top.
I'm not
but
into that guy.
I just like watching these guys clock in their lotto checks and
Yeah,
just
but then a
buy,
lot of them buy poopy homes.
You mean
some
before
of
their lives blow up from the
because I
winning
don't
the
know
lottery?
why they do that.
Yeah.
I think it depends on how much they win, but some of them buy fat ass
They do.
places
They do. Yeah.
right there on the Caribbean, and I'm just
Right.
envious.
Right.
So you mentioned the Bachelor thing. So we had this discussion earlier that just in my opinion, I don't watch the Bachelor, but it just seems like it's more prevalent in society than ever before.
Yeah.
And some people were tweeting me saying it absolutely is more popular. Some guy said he was in our guy Steve, the world's worst half-court shooter. He's in a fantasy Bachelor league. Except for 12 years, but it's more popular now than ever before. How do you see it as somebody that's in the business, like the reality TV craze, whenever it started 20 years ago or so, it's as big as ever and more prevalent.
I mean, it's
than
not going away.
Yeah, and I heard you talking about Survivor, and I watch it too with my daughter. I'm pretty sure that this is just my opinion, but I think because the country's in such a tough place right now, and it's kind of bleak
an
out
escape.
there, I think it's an escape. It's mindless, right?
By the way,
It's
Jeff
something-
Probst hasn't aged.
I mean, The Bachelor.
Well, you can see he's
Right.
doing Botox and stuff. Like, you
Oh,
can
yeah.
see it. Yeah, you can see
I'm
it.
a casual, just see him and like he kind of looks the same.
He hasn't aged because he's staying in the Four Seasons.
Oh, you want to talk about
the next
lifestyles of the
island
rich and
over?
famous? Jeff Probst. I mean, 48
balling.
seasons
Jeff-
in. I mean,
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, he's balling.
He's also an executive producer on that show.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, he's killed.
He's
killed it.
clocking the checks.
Oh, yeah.
No, but I just think it's even The Bachelor that's kind of salacious. It's harmless. It's an escape. It's something you can watch with your family.
Well, The
watch with
Bachelor
your
makes sense too because
girlfriend,
it's like hot chicks, fantasy suites.
I've
hit
never seen
skids.
more dudes loving or talking about The Bachelor.
I think
But
that's
dudes
true,
are talking
too.
about The
Have they
Bachelor more.
slutted it up more the last couple years? That's
I
probably
think
what
it's
it is.
just a tried and true formula.
Do you
I don't
think
think
they
it's
could
got
Survivor does that too. They go with attractive people.
Well, they put a few pigs and then a few attractive.
they do.
That's the
You mean
that's
smart
the formula.
people?
Well, I remember was a Joe Millionaire. Those days are gone, right? When Fox would have the show
was a genius
where you would
show.
give like
Yes.
pearl necklaces. Like you can't do that anymore,
no,
right?
no.
Right? Like, can you imagine?
I don't
today?
think you can watch
concept,
that with your
though.
daughter, right?
Why do I still remember?
Daddy,
that
what's a
Jason
pearl
loved-
necklace?
Yeah,
This is 20 years ago, but Jason loved Zora.
Zora. Remember Zora from the Joe Millionaire? He probably doesn't remember.
Yeah, with
She would do
brunette.
some commercials.
Brunette?
Yeah.
I do remember.
Oh, he did. I saw the light bulb
She
go
probably
off.
just got her
I remember
AARP
that name.
card
How
like
can you
EB.
forget that name?
Yeah.
Zora, yeah.